Okay, we will see how to inject primitives. We will see how to inject primitive data types. Okay, primitive data types dependency injection. Primitive data types dependency injection. We will see what are all the. Let's say I'll take a example of student class. I'll take string also as a primitive, but you know string is a class, but consider it as a primitive. I want to take string name, int age, string name, int age, and float GPA, some percentage I want to enter, and boolean if you want to enter any value, boolean is pass or failed, is passed or failed. So I want to enter some true or false value here, GPA here, age, and name. Right, I have various different data types here. Name, age, name is string, one is integer, float, different data types I have. So I want to pass these data types here, integer, float, string, boolean values I want to pass here. How I can pass? When you have variables in your class, to pass that values from XML file, you should have a setter method or you should have a constructor. You should have a setter method or you should have a constructor here. You should have a setter or constructor. Setter or parameterized constructor. In two ways we can do dependency injection, by using setter method of your class or by using constructor of your class. And basically what kind of classes are these? Are your controllers? Many people will confuse here just by considering that as a user input object. Into user input object we don't do any dependency injection, right? Always our classes are for dependency injection, controller, service, DAO, configuration, such classes, configuration classes, such all classes we use. Okay, for simple understanding purpose I have taken a bean example. Otherwise generally DTO beans or entity beans we never use for dependency injection. Okay, anyway, to make you understand, consider this is controller. I have name, age, GPA, and is passed. These four dependencies I want to pass from XML file. Can I pass them? Yes. From your XML file you can pass to the student class. What you should have compulsory in this class? Either setter method or a parameterized constructor to accept inputs. Right, when I want to pass some input, I should have either setter method or constructor. IOC will check for setter method or constructor when you want to inject them. Bean ID, student class name, a student class. Now I want to pass inputs into this bean class. How I can? Here if you have setter method, okay, if you have setter method you need to use property tag and you need to give the property name. Which property you want to inject? I want to inject name. Okay, name, required value you can pass from here. So I want to give Pawan as a input. Yes, you can pass. Next I want to give email, sorry, age I have 25. I want to give GPA float value, which is, yes, you can pass float value here, 75.5 f, right? For floats you need to give f. Float value is passed boolean, true or false, you can enter here. So like this you can supply values using property tag. When do I use property tag? Property tag you should use when you have setter method here. For setter method we do use property tag. For setter methods we do use property tag. What about constructor, sir? If I have for constructor, which tag I should use? Instead of property tag, here we have constructor hyphen argument tag. Constructor hyphen argument tag we use for constructor based dependency injection. There are two ways, setter and constructor. For setter we use property tag, for constructor we use constructor argument tag. So using property tag you can pass values, whichever values you want to pass, or using constructor tag also you can pass. So this is how you can achieve dependency injection. This is how you can achieve dependency injection. Do we really using these concepts nowadays, sir? Means we are using, but not by using simple XML file. Via annotations we are doing it. Okay, first concept wise let's understand with XML file. Okay, I'll show you annotations based. Till now we haven't used single annotation. Okay, we will use annotation based object creation, annotation based dependency injection also. These two concepts I am showing you here. The two concepts here, first I am showing you here is, first is objects creation. We covered XML, using XML how to create object. Dependency injection also I am showing you through XML first. Okay, later I'll show you advanced annotations concept. Annotations are which are really important. Okay, concept wise once you understand XML based, annotations not difficult to you. Okay, I'll give an example for dependency injection here. Let's open Eclipse. Launch the application. So it's almost loading. Yeah. Let's create a project. Dependency injection using setter. I'll show you. Create a project. Right click, go to build path, add your jar files, new. I'll create some classes here. Okay, I'll create some classes. For example, I'll create a DOO class. Into DOO class we will do dependency injection. Okay, student DAO. As I said, right, simple bean classes don't use, you will confuse. So into DAO class I have dependency of private string driver name private string URL, private string username, password. I will pass these four values. Only strings you are showing? Yes. Similar like strings, other values also you can try. Okay, but I am showing you a real example how to connect with database and save the data. Okay, we will connect with database and save the data, and these values I will take from the XML. I'll create a setter method to set the driver name. Okay, I'll put SOP statements to show you how IOC container is calling it. Set driver name method. You can print the driver name so that you can see when I am passing from XML file, it will print here. Set URL. Set username. Set password. Okay, four setter methods I have here. Via four setter methods I will pass driver name, URL, username, password, and a business specific method I have public void save. I want to save students data. So these are the user inputs. These are the user inputs. So user inputs, basically user will pass. Okay, developer inputs only we take from XML file, like driver name, URL, username, password. So I want to take ID, name, email, address, values as a inputs to save into database. You all must aware of JDBC, right? I'll write simple JDBC code here. Simple JDBC code here to save the data. Class dot for name, pass your driver name here. Connection con equal to driver manager dot get connection. Give your URL, username, password. Connection is received. What next? Connection dot create statement. What next? Statement dot execute update. I want to insert some data. Insert into RBU experts. Into the table I want to insert ID, this is how we write query, right? ID, name, email, address. I'll be inserting ID, name, email, address values into this table. And which database credentials I'm going to give into that database, I should have this table. So obviously I'll be using Archil here. So in Archil I'll create that table. I have Archil database here. So I'll just check whether I have this RBU experts table here or not. Select star from RBU experts. I have a table here with a few records. What I will do, I'll just truncate table, table truncated. So now no data. Let's use this table to insert. After execution, right, close this statement, statement dot close, connection dot close. So there you are done. But still some inputs are pending now. Okay, right? Driver name, URL, username, passwords I did not hard coded in my class. Instead, I do supply from XML file. So now create a XML file, create DO object and pass inputs to it. So now I'll create a DO reference here, DO dot student to DO. So to this student DO class, still coding is not completed. As a developer, I created these variables and setter methods. So I need to call that setter methods and I should pass developer inputs here. Driver name, set driver name, your variable name and the value. I want to use rkill dot jdbc dot rkill driver. The next property, URL value jdbc colon oracle colon thin colon @ localhost colon 1521 colon xc. Username, system, password. So when I pass all these values properly, right, first thing IOC will do what? It will create your object, student DO object it creates. Into this object it will pass driver name, this value it will pass. What it will call when you call property equal to driver name, it will call this setter method. IOC will call, first IOC will create this object, then next call this method. Into that method, here you have a string name variable, right, there it will pass this value, your driver name. Then next URL, it will call setter method of URL, set URL, and here it will pass the URL input whichever you given. Same way username, passwords. Will it do? Really? Check. Write a client class. Okay, I'll use application context. Okay, for all further examples, use application context. So I'm just loading it. Not calling any save method. I'm not calling any save method. Just observe. IOC need to execute this object, means it should create object. To observe object creation also, I'll override a default constructor and I will see how object created. So just loading XML file into application context, what it will do? If you see, student object is created and it is calling set driver method, passing the value whichever you given as input. Into set URL, it is passing the URL. Same way into username given. Into password given. So your object is creating as a first task. Second task, it is setting up all the values also. IOC container creating object and passing the values also. Okay, cool. Now you can call your method get bean student DAO. Just give the class name with the dot class and you can get it, or using ID also you can get it. Okay, this is the recommended way. Okay, so you can get your DAO object and I want to save the information, sir. I want to save the information. How I can save? You can call DAO dot save method, and you can give ID 1 1. Okay, how many records I can save like this? If it is a web application, once it will create this object, and for any number of users it will create data. For any number of users it will create data. So I can able to create all your records. Right, I can create all your records here. See, this is user specific information. User specific information always we expect from user only. Maybe from front end we will get this data, and automatically we map it to our controller service, then it will go to DAO. Just here we are writing only DAO class for testing purpose. Okay, now save it. Yeah, code is executed, save method also executed. As there is no output statement here, you are not able to see that. But let's go to database and see, does it inserted all these records or not. All your 7 records it got inserted here. You guys able to see, right? Yeah. So here what advantage we can see here, as a developer I can able to manage these properties from here. I can able to manage these properties from here. Tomorrow I don't want to use Arcils, or I want to go with MySQL. Just replace these properties with MySQL properties. Just replace these properties with MySQL. So it will start working as usual with MySQL. Let's see that as well. Okay, I have MySQL database. So I have so many databases here. MySQL, use PMSDB, show tables. If I create a table here like RBO experts, same, right? Almost SQL engine is same for them. Create table RBO experts, ID, the data type is int here, name, varchar here, email, varchar. If it is Arcil, the data type is different, right? Address, varchar. In Arcil we will use varchar 2, here just varchar. In place of integer, there we use number in Arcil. That's it, one table is created. Now let's configure here MySQL properties. Username, password is root and root. Here in place of Arcil properties you can give MySQL com.mysql.driver dot com.mysql.jdbc.driver, com.mysql.jdbc.driver, and let's give this URL, mysql URL, jdbc colon mysql colon localhost 3306 slash your database name. We used a database here, right? PMSDB. So you need to give that name here, PMSDB. That's it. Driver name, URL, username, passwords are changed, and code nothing to change. If I would have hard coded them here, I may need to change. I need to edit class, rebuild, recompilation, lot of stuff. But I'm not doing that. As a developer, I have comfort now. I can able to manage my properties from XML file. Easily I can able to change them, manage them. Now if I run the same example, the expected behavior is it should execute it on my SQL table, expecting that it is inserted here. So let's see. Select star from RBU experts. Empty set it is saying. I am expecting a exception here. Why in MySQL it is not saving? Let's observe it again. Let's run it and see if there is any exception. Okay, cool. I'm getting a exception, something index from server, client character error. I know the problem. This is expected behavior only. In URL something SSL parameter also I need to pass. Okay, so let me pass that as well. One SSL parameter I should pass. Let's do that. Or in my Git also I believe I have. I must have properties here. No. See, this is the MySQL URL. Auto reconnect to true. Use SSL. We need to make it false. Then it will work. Otherwise, SSL issue getting. PMSDB. PMSDB. Okay. Just added query auto connect equal to true and SSL false. Okay. If you see any error, you can compose URL like this. So now things looks good. Things looks good. Now retry it. Okay, let me run this. XML validation issue. XML is not accepting it. Right, so jdbc colon mysql colon / localhost. Use SSL. something. This characters it is not allowing to compose in this format. Okay, what else I'll do, I'll just for timing, okay, I'll just add that in the code. Okay, that's it. In the URL I just added that extra string. Try to run it. Still the connection property use SSL only accepts values of true or false, yes or no. Okay, semicolon. It is saying semicolon not required. Run again. Okay, this time unknown initial index of 255 received, could not create connection to the database server, attempted reconnection, failed. It is trying to reconnecting again and again. Finally it failed. It did multiple recollects and failed. Okay, MySQL, giving a problem because of incompatibility of jars maybe. Otherwise, yeah, you may try with your version, it must work. Okay, so easily you can able to modify developer parameters, so that will give you a lot of advantages. Okay, when you want to fix something without interrupting, right, without interrupting your classes, you can do properties modification here. But it's a small feature, right? It is a small feature. We will see in a large picture, right, what else we can do. Not only properties, we can pass objects. While passing the objects you will get a great benefits of, right, solid principles you can apply. Okay, because of this dependency injection, right, that is the great feature. In next discussion we will see that. Okay.